Hi, this is Larry London. We welcome you to a very special Border Crossings. Today in our studio, we have a man who's been making music for a few years now. Dominating the music scene is the electronic dance music sound. And we have one of the great producers in the business today. Flume is here in Washington, D.C. on tour for his latest album, which is called Skin. We'd like to welcome Flume to downtown D.C.
Hello, thanks for having me.
Congratulations on all the success.
Thank you.
The latest tune with Kai, that's unbelievable. Platinum status?
Yeah, no, it's going very well. We're very happy.
So explain to me if you can. I can't seem to figure this out. All of a sudden, and there's DJs have been around for a long time, but all of a sudden, the EDM scene is dominating the pop charts right now. I mean, everybody, you got Calvin Harris, you've got David Guetta, Flume, everybody seems to be, you look at the top 20, you can't miss it.
Yeah, it's crazy. America's really embracing electronic music at the moment.
And so EDM is in. So is it the beat? What is creating this this vibe and this energy?
Why is EDM so successful right now? I think maybe it's because, I mean, I personally, electronic music it's the thing I listen to most. I think the reason why is because I find it's got a lot of really interesting tones and textures that, you know, there's a lot of sounds you can produce on a computer that you can't with, you know, an instrument like a saxophone or a guitar. Mm-hmm. And it's this whole new world of different sounds and energies, and you know, we can literally make sounds that have never been created in the history of mankind on a computer, with technology advancing and advancing. And I think you know, music's been around for a lot of years, chords and melody, and I think that the tones and textures are the area that hasn't really been fully discovered yet. Mm-hmm. And so it's exciting and it sounds new.
It's just, I can't help but think it's a passing fad or trend, but let's hope not. I mean, certainly is lucrative. People like Calvin Harris, I read that he made $63 million this past year.
I think the EDM sound, yeah, I think it's a passing trend, but I think electronic music is here to stay.
Mm-hmm. And you created your first album in 2012, which is called Flume, in your parents' house, in your bedroom on a laptop.
Yeah, yeah. First record at my parents' place, in my bedroom. Not the best place to make music, but, you know, I did what I could. And, yeah, just kind of pieced it together. And I also did a bit when I was traveling through Europe, backpacking with my friend. I took my laptop and I would, you know, work in the hostel or like in a pub or a cafe or wherever I could, and put this album together. And it kind of just, we put it out and it kind of grew and grew and grew and grew, and now the second one's out and here we are.
Yeah, yep. Skin's doing very well, and you're going to be releasing vinyl versions of Skin or extended versions, or you're doing...
Yeah. I'll clear it up for you. So,
yes.
So what we've got is, Skin's out. It's been out for a little while now, but what we're doing is, basically I did a lot of music and not all the music made it onto the record. Some of it just didn't fit. So what I want to do is I want to put the B-sides out, you know, things that didn't make the record. And some of these things I think are really strong. They just didn't fit sonically. So we're going to be putting out a bunch of the songs that didn't make it. We're going to put it out on vinyl first, and then it's going to come out on all the other services.
Imagine when you do a show, no two shows are the same, because you're out there and you're mixing and you're creating sounds. You're a creator.
Yeah.
You know, so it's always different.
Yeah, we do mix it up a bunch.
And so these ideas for the songs, how do they come to you? What's the process when Flume wants to create some music?
Well, it varies. Sometimes I'll just sit down on the piano. Other times I'll start with the drums. Sometimes I'll kind of play around with a sample. But for me, the most inspiring thing is actually technology. I love finding out about new software and plugins and things that can manipulate sound in really strange ways, or using things like plugins the way they shouldn't necessarily be used. Maybe it's something that you use for vocals, but then putting that on a synthesizer, or, you know, like playing around. And I find that a lot of fun.
Now tell me, I mean, other artists that you want to work with and haven't worked with or are planning to work with, maybe you can give us some insights, the scoop.
Well, you know, I'm excited now to, I guess, work with other producers, and I've been working with vocalists for so long. I've been trying to do this Flume thing, and now I feel free that the second record's done. It's a big weight off my shoulders, and I'm kind of keen to work with other producers and just collaborate in general. I'm going to move to LA in February, and I plan to just kind of work with big pop stars or people who have no real, following if they're talented, and just collaboration. I think it's really inspiring.
Right. You're working with some big names on the Skin album with Kai and Tove Lo for the new single, and so and you've got Luna George and quite a few other folks that you've worked with.
Yeah, I got kind of excited after the first record because all these doors opened and all these people were now up for doing music. I got a call when I was in LA. Beck was down to do some music, so I ended up going over to his house, and we kind of went into the studio, and I played him some bits and pieces, and he sang some oohs and ahs. I kind of cut it all up, and so it's been a pretty crazy this year and last year. But lots of collaborations. I wanted to try and do some songs on this album.
And so who would you mentioned you want to help discover some unknowns?
Oh, yeah.
You're going to try and...
There's so much talent out there,
yes.
and not all of it's fully realized.
And how about people from Australia? Are you picking up any artists and introducing America to some other Australian artists?
Yeah, well, Kuchka is on the record. She's actually on 2 songs. She's from Perth. Super talented. There's a lot of talent in Australia at the moment, actually. When I go back, when I finally get to go home, I'm going to definitely hop in the studio with a few people.
Now, Sydney is a beautiful, beautiful place. I've been there myself.
Oh, really?
Yes, been to the Opera Center. And,
nice.
Absolutely gorgeous.
Hey, I'm 20 minutes away.
Are you?
Yeah.
Beautiful place. And so music's always been huge in Australia. I'm just curious, the EDM scene, is it big there as it is everywhere else on the planet?
It's definitely a thing. I think it's more of a thing in the States. It feels like the US kind of just all of a sudden, 5 years ago, Swedish House Mafia, I feel, was around that time. It just became electronic music hit the mainstream. It's kind of what happened, and there's a great scene in Sydney.
And it's no longer limited to just clubs. You've got festivals.
Oh yeah,
Trelectro and all kinds of
festivals for years.
Yeah, well, but EDM festivals. EDM music, and you headline festivals a lot, and you've won all kinds of awards in Australia.
I'm only human, can't you see? I made a mistake. Please just look me in my face. Tell me everything's okay, 'cause I'm good. Oh, can never be like you. I'm only human, can't you see? I made a mistake. Yeah, Melbourne. Tell me everything's okay, 'cause I'm good. Oh, can never be like you.
I got a couple of email when I mentioned you were coming on the show. People had some questions. One is, where did you come up with the name Flume? What's the story behind that? Because your name is really Harley. So how did you end up with Flume?
Well, it's a Bon Iver song, Flume, and I was into it at the time. And I also felt like the word Flume sounded like the music I was making. It also looked nice when I wrote it down, on paper. I figured if this project was ever going to take off, then it was going to be on posters and T-shirts. And for me, it was important to have a word that looked right, whether it's lowercase or uppercase, from a typography perspective.
And what's the feel or the description you'd have for your music? I mean, beyond the EDM. I mean, do you have a vibe that you're trying to create, a feeling? I read the word trippy and some other words that were associated, but they were written by somebody else. How would you define your music?
I'd call it music that sounds electronic, heavily electronic, but also alive and organic. I think I try and create music that sounds really... I love the sounds that you can get from synthesizers and computers and all of that, but I sometimes feel like it feels too cold. Electronic music sometimes feels a bit robotic to me, so I try and inject a human element to that, or make it feel organic, and not everything's on time. And
What if you think about the future down the road? 5 years from now, whatever, 10 years from now. What do you want to be doing? Would you like to become a songwriter for singers? Is that something you envision as a part of, or
It's
song?
something I'm doing now.
You're writing songs to sing for? I mean.
Oh, for me to sing?
Yeah, for you.
Oh, no. I'm quite content, kind of being a producer. I don't feel the need to get onto the stage with the mic.
Well, you have won a lot of awards.
Oh yeah,
in
no. I mean,
Australia.
I think I'd like to just keep doing what I'm doing for a while. Touring is awesome fun. It's quite taxing though. It's really draining for sure, but it's great. So I don't want to be doing it forever. I think later on I'd like to do music for film. I used to do music for television ads actually when I was quite young. My dad worked at a TV company, but hanging out in a studio. I think I'll be hanging out in a studio for a lot of years to come.
Hey, what's up, Melbourne? Hey, I just want to take a second to say this is the #1 track in Australia right now. We are very happy about that. Everyone give it up for Guy all the way from Canada. This is the first single off the new record. Get
What's up, Laneway?
Now, were you in the U.S. when your single with Kai caught on here? I mean, were you here at the time, and did you hear it on the radio, and what was your feeling if you did?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like I'm always in the US now. It's like my new home. I heard it on the radio in an Uber like a couple of months ago, and I was like, all right, this is working. And then I started to hear the stats and, what was going on, and then all of a sudden I did a show at the Shrine in LA, and the label and management and stuff kind of just jumped out at me with this platinum record, and they're like, "You going platinum?" So that was a big surprise.
Well, it's got to be an exciting time too.
Very much.
Because this
so.
is your second album, and so now you're really into the mainstream. Now you've really developed a name. Although you've been famous in Australia for a while, and you've had many awards from Australia. And I read somewhere where you said that it's kind of remarkable that you're in the U.S. in an American music scene, that you've made it here. So I mean, maybe you can expand on that.
Well, look, I do music in a dark room by myself. So for me, this whole thing is quite. It's kind of crazy. It's hard to take it all in, I guess. I've never really been one that wants to be in the limelight. I've kind of grown to love it though, and I think that. Yeah, it's amazing to see it take off in America. It's been working in Australia for a while, but to see it take off in such a huge place, on such a larger, grander scale, it's pretty incredible. And just to see the amount of people I get to play to every night, and we're just in one country, and we've got 50 tour dates, and every night I'm playing to these masses of people, and to just think that they actually know my stuff, and half of it I did in my bloody bedroom at my parents' house. I'm playing that out to Red Rocks.
Right.
Thinking about where I made it. I'm like, all right, this is pretty funny.
And everybody knows your stuff. I mean, and that's got to feel gratifying to be around the world.
But not only that, I think I'm also quite lucky with the timing. Things of I'm producing, and America's embracing electronic music right now, and it's it's really cool.
I'm only young, can't you see? I made a mistake. Please just look me in my face. Tell me everything's okay. 'Cause I got it. Ooh, never be like you. I'm only young, can't you see? I made a mistake. Please just look me in my face. Tell me everything's okay. 'Cause I got it. Ooh, never be.
So when you are performing and you're doing your show and the fans are going crazy, how do you, I mean, it's tough to sustain that energy. I mean, it's all about energy. And once you get them going, to keep them going is not, that's a big challenge for all the DJs who go out there.
Sustaining the energy, just over the years, or do you mean
during your show
just
and
during
over
the show?
the years?
Oh,
Both.
yeah. See, that's the one I worry about, over the years one. That's yeah. I think, during the show, it's like I even when I'm not feeling it, I try and really, force myself to because when you're doing a show every night for months, some nights you're just not feeling that great, and But you know, these people have come out and bought tickets, and you know, I'm going to put on a good show. So I've kind of, you know, forced myself to get into it and really kind of, you know, get on the mic and stuff, and then before I know it, I am into it and I'm with the crowd.
So why is the album called Skin? Why'd you decide to name it that?
Well, you know, it was the second album. It was kind of tough at times. Sometimes being creative all the time isn't that easy.
Right.
All the time.
All
it's
the
like
time.
the one thing in my entire life. Like, you have to do this album for like 3 years. So I definitely went a little bit crazy. I didn't feel like I was in my own skin the whole time. But also on top of that, I felt like, you know, to me, skin is, it's kind of weird. It's the largest organ in the body. It's kind of alien and a bit strange, but it's also really personal and intimate and organic. And that's kind of how I want the music to come across. I want it to feel a little like uncomfortable at first, maybe a little unusual, a little out of, not quite on time or something. But I also want it to feel like it has a soul and it's alive.
Very active on social media, as you know, most artists are these days, and you have your own, you know, video pages on YouTube. I was checking out all your videos, and you put out a lot of videos.
Yep.
A lot of videos, and they're very expensive, and there's a lot of them.
Oh, yeah.
And you got a new one, a new single, new video with Tove Lo.
Yes, yeah. So the track "Say It" with Tove Lo is going to be the new single, and yeah, we you know, we put a lot of time and energy into these things. We want to make sure the aesthetic's right, and yeah, and I think it's important to stay connected with the fans. So we try and put out, you know, tour documentaries, you know, bits and pieces, so the fans can kind of feel involved in what's going on, and it gives them an insight into what it's like. It seems a little more glamorous on the videos, I think.
So you have a hand in the direction of the video. You take charge. You own the whole process.
Yeah, sure. I mean, I don't do it personally, but I will. Yeah, I don't. I have to
great.
approve everything, and we make sure it looks right, and yeah, it's cool. You know, social media is such a powerful tool. It's part of the reason why I'm here, actually. You know, when I started out, Facebook really helped. You know, they weren't actually throttling stuff when I started out.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So when you posted it, all the people that liked your page could see it. Crazy, right?
Right.
Crazy. Think about that. So yeah, Facebook, SoundCloud, and Instagram, and you know, we try and stay active.
You've got millions and millions of followers. Speaking of Facebook, I mean, there's a lot of people following.
We got 1 mil. We're going to make it too soon, hopefully.
No, you're a bit more than that. But the Facebook page is Flume.
Yes.
You know, just go to Facebook.
Flume Music.
Flume Music.
At Flume Music, yeah.
And they can find you there. What's the story behind Say It? I mean, what is that? What are you trying to say? What is going on? What's the message?
We got together in LA. Funny story. So I went to see Kanye. I'll start from the start. Went to see Kanye at the Hollywood Bowl, and I went to a bar afterwards. We kind of went back, me and my manager, had a beer, and a Tove Lo song came on the speakers, and I wasn't really familiar. I Shazammed it and found out it was Tove, and I was like, damn, who is this? I got to work with this person. Her voice is amazing. She's got a great ear for melody. And yeah, so then basically my manager hit her up the next day, and she happened to be in LA, and she happened to have some time, and she was up for it, which was amazing. And we got in the studio, and one day, you know, I had a bit of an idea, like a bit of a beat and stuff, and we got in there, and just like, it just worked. We had, yeah, we you know, we got along really well, and just managed to create something in one day. It was 1 or 2 days, and I feel like often the best things happen quickly. So
it's interesting. You didn't write that for her. You didn't say, "I'm going to create this with Tove Lo in mind." You had created a song.
No, I hadn't created the whole thing. I'd created like, I had the chorus chords done, but that's it. And we started doing the beat, and then the verse and bridge, and you know, then bouncing off each other. And
wow, how long does it take to put a song together? For those that don't know, like myself.
Again, see, that came about in a matter of a couple of days, finished in like a week. We which is rare.
And that's one song.
Usually it happens.
Couple of weeks.
Sometimes things, I spend a month on it and then
Wow.
then get stuck and come back to it a year and a half later and then finish it. And it can be one day, it can be 5 years to finish a song. There's
Wow. No set.
no answer.
See, for the average person like myself, we have no idea. You as a musician, you
Yeah.
do this all the time. So to you, it's
And
second nature. But to those of us who buy the music, we have no
That's
idea
it.
what went into making the music.
Oh, a lot of blood, sweat, and tears. That's for sure.
And a lot of support staff.
Yeah, it's so many. Yeah, amazing team.
And you've been with the same label for a while now.
Yeah, so it's cool because we're 100% independent. I've been with Future Classic from Australia, Australian-based label. Nathan from Future Classic owns Future Classic, and he's a manager. And we're with Mum and Pop in the States, another indie label, and Transgressive in the UK. So yeah, it's really nice because the people I'm working with are, you know, they're not there to make crazy money. They're there because they're not. It's
Right.
about, you know, like people who love music and are passionate about music, and it's a great team to be around. I'm very fortunate.
Speaking of crazy money, when you heard that your single went platinum, and you got that check, what did you spend it on? What was that first check spent on?
I haven't got that check.
Oh, you haven't got the check yet?
Takes
Too
like,
busy touring and stuff.
Yeah.
Speaking of the tour, are you going around the world? Is this a world tour you're on right now, or just the States? Or
Oh man, I'm always going around the world, from Sydney, Australia, Northern Hemisphere to Southern Hemisphere.
is there anywhere you haven't played yet that you want to play?
Yeah, Norway, Sweden, Finland, Iceland.
All the places we broadcast. Any plan for the future to be there?
New Orleans, going to be going there very soon, next week almost. Never been there. I'm very excited about that. And yeah, and I mean, look, we're doing this, then we're after the American tour, we're going to Europe, then we're touring Australia.
Are there any countries that are more receptive to EDM than others? Is there anywhere you can go and
To
they go,
EDM?
Yeah, to the style of music that you're doing.
Well, at the moment, America is definitely the. I mean, if you go to Europe, though, it's not even called EDM. It's just dance music because
Right.
it's just been in the mainstream
Right.
forever. So,
Japan, have you been there?
been there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Shibuya and all that area.
Yeah. A beautiful place.
Yes, I
Very-
lived there for a couple of years.
Oh, really?
Gorgeous.
I love Japan. I love the culture. How you can just no one steals.
Right. There aren't police everywhere. It's
Yeah.
a very nice place.
It's very fascinating.
As is Australia. I mean, I loved Australia. when I was
Yeah,
there, too.
it's not kind of ruined yet, you know.
Right,
it's
right.
beautiful because it's frustrating to get there because it's a couple of flights. you know?
Right. Do you miss the food? Being here in the States?
In Australia,
The Australian food? Where's that Vegemite and all that stuff?
you know what I miss? Oh yeah, of course I miss veg. I mean, I'm Australian. Come
That's
on.
it. Come on.
I miss the ocean. I miss going surfing. That's what I miss the most. I've always lived kind of near the beach, so I miss nature as well because we're constantly in these big cities,
Right.
And it's really great, and I'm having a lot of fun. But I definitely yearn to be in nature. Yeah.
And you're also designing clothing, I understand, or you've got your own brand stuff coming out. And
Oh yeah.
tell me about that.
So Jonathan Zawada is the name of the man who designed the album cover for Skin. He also, all the different the artwork, all the different singles he's done the artwork for with the flowers, and all the live visuals at the show he's helped craft. And his aesthetic kind of runs through the whole project now. And he's basically been coming up with some designs for some pieces of clothing, and we've got a bunch of different really kind of crazy looking things that we've got on the merch store now. So yeah,
And where can people get Flume merchandise?
Yeah, we've got the online store open, or at any of the shows.
And what is the online? What would, if people want to go, what's the URL? What's the website?
FlumeMusic.com.
All right.
Or just Flume.com.
Either way. Or search, Flume merchandise.
Hey, just search it. Just look
Easy.
at
Everything you
Harry.
can Google and search these days. the tour ends, and is more touring? Is that the plan for your future? I mean, what comes next for you? Another album? Do you have an idea in your head already?
Well, what comes next is I just bought a van, like a V-dub, and it's got a bed in the back, and I'm building a studio inside it. So when I get back to Australia, I'm going to drive around to the national parks just by myself with my surfboards. I'm going to go surfing, then I'm going to come back, and I'm going to make music in my van.
Wow. That's great.
I'm going to travel Australia.
I love that
and
plan.
just do music.
Got an extra bed? I'll come along.
No, I don't.
Okay. All right. It sounds like fun, though. It sounds like
Yeah, so that's just a little project I'm working on. But to be honest, I don't really know what's next. I kind of am just trying to enjoy, not having the pressure of doing another record. I may not do another one for a while. Maybe never. I don't know. Maybe it'll just happen, and before I know it, I've got all this great music that I'm sitting on. So I'm just kind of playing it by ear. I think what I really want to do is do some kind of crazy art installation stuff. Virtual reality, I don't know, just embracing technology and doing some kind of installations with Jonathan Sawada. But we'll see.
Do you ever get an artist contact you and say, create something for me? A singer, who says, take my song and do something with it. Let's have fun.
Remix it? Or
Yeah.
I've definitely been approached by a number of people.
Yeah, because Rihanna's on the phone now. She wants you to do something.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah, just have Flume do my next song.
Oh, cool, perfect.
But it's I'll tell you, you're at the right place at the right time, and EDM is right now, as I mentioned at the beginning, the most popular style of music that's out there right now. You just go down the list from Skrillex and Jack U, and the list goes on and on and on, and Major Lazer.
Oh, yeah.
It's everywhere you go, and so
crazy.
Flume, obviously, right at the top of that list.
Hey, thanks for having me, man.
Hey, it's a pleasure to have you. A pleasure to meet you. I love your sound and your style, and the album is called Skin.
Album's called Skin.
And why vinyl? Why did you decide you want to do something with vinyl?
It's a
Creative, something different?
well. The thing is, with vinyl, you get to really, we've got all. It's beautiful. Basically, we've really put a lot of time and energy into it. It's a beautiful thing to have because we've got, the vinyl's purple, white kind of splatter effect, and we've got all the art from all the individual singles on really nice paper inside it, and it's just you can hold it. And it's I feel like music these days it just doesn't feel like it has the same value that it used to. When I used to go and buy CDs or tapes or whatever,
Right.
Something tangible. I think it's super important. And for me, when I really love something, I'll go buy it on vinyl. That way I don't forget about it and doesn't get lost in my iTunes.
That's great. And I know it's hard to sell CDs these days. I mean, to sell a CD, an album, very expensive to make, very difficult to sell.
I haven't had a CD drive in my computer for the last year and a half. Apple just decided, no, we're not going to do that anymore. So we do still have CDs though, but
of course.
It's crazy. Vinyl is actually having quite a resurgence, and more people are buying it than, I don't know the stats, but I know it's like this.
Yeah, that's it. Everything is ebb and flow, highs and lows, or whatever. But as long as you continue putting out great music like you've been putting out, people will continue to buy your music and buy your CDs. And what a pleasure it is to have you in our studios here in America and in downtown D.C. First time in D.C.?
No, I've been there a few times.
You like the city?
It's very clean, and there's a lot of history, so there's some beautiful buildings.
Everywhere you turn, there's history.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, Flume, for coming on the show.
Thanks so much for having me.
It's flumemusic.com. Get his CD. It's called Skin. Flume is our guest, and this is Border Crossings. I'm Larry London.